Okay, so here's an easier way to solo Solea, the final boss of Tazavesh. One word of warning up front. This method will not work for the mythic hard mode, but it will work for the regular mythic run, so you can still use it to farm the epic mount that you can drop. So let's get into it. The one and only thing you need for this to work is a second character that's able to enter Tazavesh. You don't need another human or a second account. One of your alt characters will do just fine. As you probably know, Solea will cast an immunity shield on herself once she enters phase 2 at around 40% of her health, which reduces any damage taken by 99%, making the rest of the fight very dragged out, taking more than 20-30 minutes or even longer. This is because to remove the immunity shield, you will have to deactivate 5 stars or relics. However, the game mechanic never activates if you engage her with only one player. So you need a second party member in your group within reach of her to be able to remove the shield. The good thing is that this second party member doesn't need to be alive, which allows you to use one of your own alts to play this part. The easiest way to do this is if you start the whole dungeon already as a party with your alt in the group. But you can also do this once you've cleared all the bosses up to Solea. We'll come to that later. So how do you invite yourself to a group? It's pretty easy nowadays, you just use the looking for group interface. You create a group with your main character, selecting Premade Groups, Custom, Starter Group, enter some random name, and click on List Group. You then log to your alt character, open the looking for group interface as well, go to Premade Groups, Custom, and this time selecting Find a Group. You can filter for the name of the group you created, or if you have added your main character to your friend list, it should appear at the top in a different color. So you then sign up for this group. Log back to your main character and accept the invite. You then need to log back to your alt character again to actually join the group. At this point you're ready to go switch back to your main and clear the dungeon up to the final boss. Once you have reached the final boss, things become a bit time critical. You log to your alt character, use the portal to the boss room, run up to the boss and die somewhere near it in a spot of where you think that you will be able to deactivate the stars. You now need to log back to your main character relatively quickly before the game removes your character from the world, so I don't recommend manually logging out. Instead, what I've done is to open up a second instance of WoW and log in there, which automatically logs me out of the first instance. I'm using WoW in windowed mode, which makes this relatively easy, but I suspect that Alt F4 would work as well, also it's probably a bit slower than having a second instance of WoW already open. If you've been quick enough, you should still see the body of your fallen teammate near the boss. But if not, try to switch to your alt again and quickly back to your main. And now it's time to engage the boss, which will also put your locked off character into combat and will prevent the body from being removed from the world, so that it can actually act as a way to enable a game mechanic which was unavailable to us before. The behavior of when the arrows appear can be a bit erratic. Sometimes you have to wait a bit before they appear, especially after the first couple ones have already shown up, but you weren't able to deactivate all the star relics successfully. I've also made a video for the full Tazavesh run with the fight in full duration, so if you're interested, I've linked it in the video description below. Okay, but what if you have already cleared the dungeon up to Solea, but notice just now that the fight takes for ages and you are looking for an easier way? The good news is that this method still works, even if you have already pre-cleared the dungeon. You just have to create a Premade group as shown before, and invite your alt character. The only difference is that you actually have to leave and re-enter the dungeon with your main character first, after having formed the group, otherwise your alt character will see a fresh instance of the dungeon. And normally even this isn't possible. At least as far as I could tell, for other dungeons, Forming a Premade Group after pre-clearing solo will result in all the mobs and bosses respawning for both of your characters. Also, the respawned bosses will not drop any loot for your main, you only get that chance once per week for a mythic dungeon. But for Tazavesh, this respawn mechanic seems to be disabled, so even if you have already killed all the bosses except the final one, and only then form a group, they will not respawn, allowing you to take the portal to Solea's boss room just fine. I've tested this in a couple other Shadowland dungeons, but it only seemed to work in Tazavesh. And luckily this allows us to kill Solea much more easily than just banging your head against a 99% immunity shield. I hope you found this video helpful, and happy farming.